How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today I'm going to be talking through some trades I've taken recently. We got some winners and also some losers, so I'm going to be talking through why I took them, why they lost, why they won, and essentially just my analysis behind each of the trades. So hopefully this helps you guys to see what I'm looking for, and hopefully you can implement something I teach you into your own strategy and your own plan. So let's get over to the charts and check out the trades. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the trades up on the screen here, and I'm just going to basically talk you through each trade I took, why they may have lost, why they won, and hopefully, as you guys will be able to see, you might be able to use something in your own strategy. And this is also to show you guys that losers do happen. You know, everyone loses, and people that say they don't lose are either lying or have a very low risk to reward. But essentially, yeah, this was one trading week, I believe. Obviously there was 3% here, then we had a -1 and a -1, so we ended up 1% for the week, which isn't ideal, but you know, it wasn't a losing week, and that is the most important thing, not losing. Okay, so if we start with the first trade down here, let's have a look. So what was the reason for entering this trade? Well, if we just replay so that it's easier to see, as you can see, before anything, we were making this big push up here, right? We were pushing up, we were pushing up, we were pushing up. And then what we left behind was this big wick down here, this low, this liquidity, whatever it is you want to call it, that I believe needed to be taken out or filled at some point. So what we had here was essentially price had come up, and then we'd basically tapped into this area and then tapped into it again and then tapped it again. And obviously, because this is at the top of the push, it failing to break above the high 3 times is a good indication that we may be starting to look to sell now, right? So when we had this push up here in London session, because as you know, I only trade GU in London, we had then this push down. Normally, okay, I'd like to make this clear. Normally, I like to wait for this low, if I mark it on, this low here to get broken before I would enter a trade to indicate that we're now breaking structure to the downside. However, the reason I didn't do that was because it had failed to break above multiple times, and then we had this strong push away. I was confident that the price would sort of continue further down. So what we did was we waited for this pull up here, this pull back up here, and there are many ways you could have got into this. If you guys trade supply and demand, obviously you got this area here, which is quite big, but obviously it would work. And I'm sure on lower time frames there would have been things like order blocks you could have used. But for me, when we left this sort of area here, it was a good sign that I wanted to get in. So I literally waited for price to come up and tap it and then close below, and we got into the trade. And then, you know, as always, I target at 1 to 3. So we had a news thing come into play during my trade. So what I did was I put price to break even, because I always do that around news. And then we had price drop all the way down and hit our TP for 3%, which was lovely. And then obviously if I come out of replay mode, you can see that price continued to fall. So that was our first trade, so we made 3% on that. And then we come into our second trade of the week. Now this one, as you can see, was a loser, which is annoying, but essentially I'm just going to show you why I took this trade, where the mistake that I made, and essentially what I need to do next time to improve my trading. What I was thinking with this trade was we had this liquidity area here, right? And then we had this drop down to stop out everyone that were trying to buy off this area here. So once that happened, and then we got this big push up, breaking through all of this, to me, it seemed like it was ready to buy, because obviously we'd stopped out everyone that was already buying, and then we'd taken out anyone that was selling up in these regions here. So once we got that big push up and that close above, I believed it was a break of structure. And then I simply was just entering off the liquidity retest or the order block or anything like that. And as you can see, price came in, it did tap me in, and I believe we got to around 1.7-ish R in profit, but obviously we're targeting a 1 to 3. However, it did stop us out eventually and carry on selling. Now, where I went wrong with this was essentially what I should have remembered is obviously we were selling the day before or whatever it was, right? And we also had a target down here that still hadn't been hit at this point. You know, it was just a case of I didn't think about this, and I was taking it on too much of a smaller sort of thing. I was thinking, oh, well, for the day it might want to buy. However, that isn't how I should have been thinking. We were selling up here. We still had our sell target to be hit. So really, I should have just stuck with my sell bias, and I didn't, and obviously I got punished for it. Now, also, the other thing I should have been thinking about is the fact that when price did this, it didn't just wick below these areas, it closed below. Now, normally, if you're seeing a liquidity grab, you'll have a wick like this going down into the area, and then the price would still close above, like the body would still close above the area. However, we didn't have this. We just had price come down and close below. So, you know, that isn't really a good sign, and in the moment obviously you don't think like that, and the power of hindsight is amazing, but you know, it is what it is. And as you can see, we did get stopped out, and it's annoying because there would have been a nice entry here for the sales on the retest of that liquidity, but you know, you can't do anything about it. And then the final trade of the week was another sell. Now, this was more sensible because obviously, as I said, my target hadn't been hit for sells, which was this line down here. If I draw, my target hadn't been hit, and you know, sells were making sense. If you look at it as a trend, obviously we got this high up here, then we got these highs, then we got these highs, and then at the time, if I put the replay mode on like this, we've then got these highs. So you know, we weren't really making higher highs. These were kind of equal highs, if you want to say, that got taken by this wick. So you know, it was a good sign that price wanted to sell, and you know, annoyingly, obviously it didn't. But the reason I wanted to enter this trade, as I said, was we had this sort of liquidity here taken by this wick, and then we basically had price, we'd had it drop, we'd come back up, we'd closed below this high as well. And so I was simply just trying to get in on this area here, which we did when it wicked back up. However, as you can see, price dropped towards my target of a 1 to 3. Ultimately, I did want to target this area. However, 1 to 3 is what I'm happy with. But as you can see, price just smashed through our SL, which is really, really annoying, of course. And then you can see once it's taken me out, we then get the drop down to my TP areas here and here. So it was just a case of entering slightly too low down. And if we look where price reversed, it was actually from a similar area that I was using on this trade here, right? So I should have seen that. I didn't. And you know, the power of hindsight, as I said, is a thing. However, as you can see, although we did lose 2 out of the 3 trades, because we made 1, 2, 3 on the first trade, we actually ended up 1% in profit for the week, which isn't, you know, amazing. However, you know, if we did that every week for the month, that's 4% a month on a 400k account or something like that. You're looking at a lot of money, and even on a 100k account, you're looking at sort of £4,000, $4,000. So, you know, it's annoying, but we didn't lose, and that's the most important thing. But, you know, hopefully showing you these trades, showing you that I lose as well, has helped you guys, and explaining why I was looking at each reason for getting into each of the trades, what my reason for my direction was. Although it wasn't correct, I've shown you what I should have been looking for. So hopefully it's really helped you guys. And if you do like these sort of videos, make sure to give them a like. And tell me that you enjoy them so I can make more of them. But as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.